Everyone, including you, will be completely terrified when XRP hits $20 per coin. However, the issue remains what will cause XRP to drop to $20 per coin and why. I'm going to start by discussing something completely crazy. We just made history. For the first time in a long time, retail funds actually outperformed hedge funds. The recent enormous migration of hedge funds is evident, as short transactions outnumbered longs by a factor of 3, with 75% of the volume coming from North American stocks. In essence, we witnessed hedge funds surrender or widespread anxiety in the wake of Trump's tariffs, which caused the S&P 500 to suffer enormous losses. Intriguingly, though, cryptocurrencies actually recovered. Cryptocurrencies like XRP really increased in value today, in contrast to the S&P 500's 5% decline. In a moment, I will explain why this is such a huge and important issue. The cryptocurrency market is diverging and unparalleling itself from the stock market, which basically implies that while the stock market is declining, XRP is rising. For the first time in a very long time, cryptocurrency is accomplishing what it was intended to do. I actually discussed this a few months ago on my former account, saying that people will eventually discover that tariffs are beneficial for cryptocurrencies because they are unmanageable. However, stocks are susceptible to manipulation and other manipulations. In the crypto realm, we have decentralization, which is what I mean when I say manipulated. Price-wise, anything is obviously manipulable, but decentralization is crucial. Therefore, it makes sense that during a period of economic instability, ordinary investors would turn to cryptocurrencies. In contrast to stocks releasing new shares and trading being halted by the NYSE or any other trading authority, it is a good store of value and you know what you are buying, which cannot be modified. Yes, there are numerous problems there. As you can see, regular investors jumped in like never before while hedge funds fled. JP Morgan reports that on Thursday, retail investors purchased $4.7 billion worth of equities. Since 2015, this is the biggest daily purchase made by retail investors. Furthermore, the difference between the amount that hedge funds and individual investors are purchasing in the cryptocurrency industry is even more pronounced. As you can see, there has rarely been such polarization in positioning. In general, almost everyone is affected when the markets are frightened. However, retail is saying, hey, I'm buying the dip, while hedge funds are selling like crazy right now. Then between 9:30 a.m. and 12 p.m. on Friday, retail investors liquidated $1.5 billion worth of stocks. In a span of 2.5 hours, this was the biggest selling ever. Since 2022, retail has been steadfastly purchasing the dip. However, it seems that this pattern may be changing quickly. Very intriguing. They're selling stocks, crypto and stocks are being purchased. A staggering $991 billion in market capitalization was destroyed by Magnificent 7 stocks on Thursday. This exceeded the previous record of $759 billion per zero hedge, which was set on March 10th. On Thursday, the S&P 500 dropped $2.7 trillion. This indicates that the Magnificent 7 accounted for 37% of market cap losses. You look at the S&P 500 and notice that it has been bleeding for the past 5 days. It has been bleeding for the past month. It's really uncommon. The S&P 500 has dropped 13.15% in just 1 month. However, here we are in this regulatory environment. Hedge funds are quite uncertain in this situation. They have no idea what the future holds. However, why is retail so optimistic? Because this is the situation. Extreme dread is evident in every market sentiment measurement, including the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index. Extreme fear is measured by the Stock Fear and Greed Index. Everything is displaying intense terror. However, retail purchases are at all-time highs. There has never been anything like this before. I want to be extremely clear about this. This circumstance is similar to a golden goose egg. What we're witnessing at the moment is crazy. As you can see, XRP is currently up 3.21%. I would want to remind everyone that this is what we witnessed the last time we had tariffs. 3 huge red days, a 30% decline in a single day, and then recouping all of those losses occurred when the trade wars were actually happening. We now witnessed a much smaller version of this. Here we experienced a few red days, one of a respectable size, and then yes, a brief dip below $2, but then recouping those losses and currently trading steadily upwards over a 24-hour period. Really interested. Please share your thoughts on why you believe that retail is purchasing more than ever before in the comments below. Personally, I believe that Wall Street's manipulation is no longer effective because retail is now uniting and recognizing the kind of game Wall Street is playing. That's what makes the internet so wonderful. More quickly than ever before, we can communicate, disseminate information, and guarantee that everyone is educated. Furthermore, in my opinion, investors are consistently making smarter choices that benefit their portfolios. Furthermore, people aren't actually falling for the deception. People are buying on days when Wall Street is trying to incite a lot of anxiety in the markets by selling large quantities of stocks and, of course, altering media narratives to attempt to incite even more dread. That is simply amazing. So here's the thing, correct? As I indicated
Since
briefly
XRP's
earlier,
market value has risen to almost $5 trillion in just 2 hours,
benefits the
the
retail
$50
industry.
per
It's
XRP
also
number
totally
has been
transparent.
verified.
Everything
Naturally,
is on the
if you
public
do
ledger,
the arithmetic,
so if somebody
you
is
get
engaging in
$100
insider
billion
trading, it will
by
eventually
dividing
be
that
discovered.
$5 trillion
Yes, it
by
is
the total
possible
amount
to
of
purchase
XRP in
cryptocurrencies
circulation.
during a pre-sale
In
and
actuality, this
subsequently
is far
sell it to
greater than the
others.
amount that is
However,
in
it isn't
circulation.
the case for a
You estimate that the
cryptocurrency like
overall amount of
XRP that is
supplies in
already
circulation
available
is
and
between
not in a
$50
pre-sale.
and $60
The public
billion.
ledger contains all of the
In theory, let's
transactions.
assume that the
Every
entire
purchase
supply
is visible
equals
to us.
$100 billion.
Every sale is visible
You
to
gain
us.
$50
Heck, all
per
of the money
XRP if you
transfers
take
are
that
visible
$5
to
trillion.
us. Everything is
Furthermore,
out there.
this is a
So if
relatively
something
low
is amiss,
price
there
per
are a lot of
XRP.
individuals who look at
XRP
this
will
data
probably
every
be
day
far
and they can
higher,
bring it out.
approaching $1
I
to
can then discuss it in my
$200 per
YouTube video,
XRP.
which
And
puts
all
a
of this
stop
may
to it
occur
right
in
then.
the span of a
Not
single
anymore,
day.
no more deceit.
Look at this loan, please.
People are becoming
Over
aware
$1
of this.
billion
There is
worth
no
of
doubt that
XRP
the
has
stock
been
market is
adopted by large
manipulated.
institutions.
It's confidential.
Indeed, over
The
$1 billion
transactions are not
has been
visible
moved
to you.
into Ripple
Only
Labs
those
from
who
an
are employed by
unidentified
the
wallet.
stock exchanges
It's clear
are
that
able to
enormous
view
things
that.
are happening.
Retail, meanwhile,
Additionally,
is
we recently
completely
learned
blind
that
to
U.S.
that.
politicians
Furthermore,
are meeting
that
and
is
holding
unfair.
a hearing on
People
April
are
9th
becoming
in less
aware
than
of that.
6 days to promote
Actually, there are
legislation on
emergency
digital
pausing
asset
periods on
regulation
stock exchanges.
that would make
What can
XRP
they do,
the
for
primary
instance?
strategic
If
reserve
the S&P
currency for U.S.
500 as a whole
cryptocurrency.
drops more
The
than
President of the
15%
United
in a
States,
single
Donald
day,
Trump, has
they
already
can
officially
simply stop
promoted
trading
XRP
altogether.
and stated that it
Indeed,
will
they
be
have
included in the
mechanisms in place to
cryptocurrency Federal
accomplish so
Reserve of the
automatically.
United States.
That is entirely
We have
incorrect.
also witnessed
That
numerous
is
sons, and
completely
as you may
absurd.
know, members
They
of
are
the
able
U.S.
to
government
prevent
at this
panic
time
sales, not
reaffirmed their support
decentralized,
for
that is.
XRP,
This is not
displaying
something that is
bullish
in the best
sentiment toward
interests
it
of all
and predicting
traders.
that it will become
People
the
should be able
primary
to
and
sell
most
if they so
popular way
choose.
to accumulate
It's that
Federal
easy.
Reserve
And
cash.
for that reason, people
Therefore,
are swarming
in order to hold the largest
cryptocurrency.
bag,
Guys,
they will be
here's the
consuming
lovely
as much
thing.
XRP
It's
as
going to be
possible.
24/7
This is obviously
once the
done to
whole
ensure
stock
that they
market is
maximize
tokenized
profits,
and
yet
traded
we are
on a
witnessing
public ledger,
institutions
whether it's
disintegrate.
HBR,
Look here, for
XRP, or
example, where
something else
Forbes predicts
entirely.
the next
Each and
significant
every
price to be
transaction on those
$60,000,
marketplaces will then be
indicating
more
its largest
transparent
breakout.
as a result of
Yes,
that.
have in mind
And this
that we
is
have
really what
previously
we're
discussed this in the previous
Having
video,
stated that,
and
though, I
Forbes
would
is
like to
stating, and I
discuss why I
personally
believe
think that
XRP will reach
per
$20
XRP
per
is the
coin.
right price.
Why,
It's
aside from
happening
all
right
we've
in front of
previously
us.
discussed,
Now is the
I
moment
have a
to
lot of
examine it in the
confidence
short
it.
term,
As you
examining
can
it every
see,
day for the
bull
next
market
24
cycles
hours and the
typically
next 2
endure
to
a
3 days,
considerable amount of
or
time.
72 hours.
It is evident that
The
this
following
is
24
2020.
hours will
We
be
haven't
restricted once
experienced a
more
bull
over
run since.
$50 per
XRP increased from
without
24
exception,
cents to
and after that it will
62 cents per
undoubtedly
coin during the
continue to
election
rise further,
period.
eventually
That is to say,
reaching
the
the
price
price that
increased
Forbes
by
has
around 3
proclaimed and
times.
forecasted,
Wonderful.
that is
You adore seeing
$60,000
that.
per XRP.
As you may recall,
they are
this
undoubtedly
occurred
the
during
most
the
well-known
election
source of
supercycle.
news on cryptocurrency,
Last similarly
not
occurred
just
last
in terms
time
of
with
news,
the
but also
exception
in
that
terms of
XRP had
financial
far
news.
greater
Thus, their
regulatory
statement
clarity
that XRP
and
is
other
worth
favorable
60,000
aspects
is
this
very
time around.
astounding.
Rather
Now,
than
as we
seeing a
discuss
threefold
XRP for
increase in
everyone who
price,
is interested,
as a result,
here
it
is your
increased from
opportunity to get
51
your hands on
cents to
some
say
before the price surge
$4.50
and
a
huge
month
boom
later.
that will actually
Basically a
generate money for
5x rather than a
generations for
3x,
everybody who has
as
even
it
a
was
single
back here.
XRP.
Naturally,
And you
there
can
is
really
always
do
a
so
slight
right now on
correction
Ben
after that.
Exchange.
Here
Com,
too,
which
we
I'll be
witnessed
linking
that.
to in the
Then in
description
May, there
below
was
for
still another
absolutely little to
significant
very
rally.
little to
In
nil
fact,
fees.
the previous
You can
peak of
obtain all of
XRP
your
occurred in
preferred
May
cryptocurrencies
2021,
in addition to
around
XRP,
6 months following
and you
the
can
election
actually use your
supercycle.
card to purchase
In my
it straight
opinion,
from
things
fiat,
will not
and
be
you
the
can
same
utilize
this time,
more than one of
and
us.
I wish to
Banks are
demonstrate
certainly
my
an
reasoning.
option.
In
It
the
only
past,
takes a few minutes
XRP
to
had many
complete the
unresolved
transaction and
issues
start
that have
joining,
since been
generating
resolved.
wealth for
If we
future
examine
generations
further
and receiving your
instances,
results
such as
on
Solana,
XRP.
Solana
Furthermore, Ben
actually
Exchange
peaked considerably
Com offers
later,
the
as
option
we
to
can
cash
see
out
here.
your XRP
You can
and
see that
transfer it
unlike
straight to the
XRP,
bank,
which
is
peaked
much
in
better.
May
The best
2021,
part is that you can
Solana
really
actually
perform all of
peaked in
this on your
November
phone using their
2021.
Apple or
If you
Android
check at the
apps.
price and the
Because
date.
the Ben Exchange
After
holds
this
the
election
complete
supercycle
XRP ledger,
phase,
take
when many
advantage of this chance
cryptocurrencies
and
began
began to receive a lot of attention, including Solana and the majority of other altcoins that were popularized at the time. The remaining altcoins really peaked near the end of 2021. Therefore, I do believe that this time, as the year draws to a close,
once more, everyone, I will
XRP will reach
provide
its
all of
highest
the links
point
in the
ever.
explanation
All of
below.
the other altcoins will reach their highest point ever.
Now, before the huge price increase is the time to do so. Having stated that, let's go on to the video.
Slightly above it,
there has been a significant pricing hiccup for XRP.
Now, geopolitics
even the reporter on
also
American
supports
Send
this.
Ryan
We are
Financial
aware that
News
sometime
concluded
in
that he was
Q3
having
or
trouble
Q4 of
understanding what was
2025,
occurring because
Jerome
it had
Powell
risen
will
to
begin
such a high
quantitative
level,
easing.
but it was only
And as
a problem.
everyone knows,
there
it
has
takes
been
a
a
few
new
months to
XRP
manifest.
problem reported.
Therefore,
you are
if he does
currently
begin
looking
it
at
in
21p,
Q3, the markets will be ready to witness all of the liquidity that will be poured into the banking industry
more than
by
one
the
of
end
us.
of the year.
Banks are certainly an
Naturally
option.
get into the
It
hands
only
of
takes a few
retailers
minutes
who
to
will then
complete the
purchase
transaction
Bitcoin
and
in
start
large
joining
quantities.
generating
So
wealth
you
for
guys
future
should be getting ready
generations
for
and
that.
receiving your
I
results
continue
on
to use
XRP.
dollar cost
Furthermore,
averaging
Ben
because of
Exchange.
this.
Com
For this
offers the
reason, I
option
am
to cash
currently
out your
trading
XRP
futures
and
in addition
transfer
to
it
all of
straight
these
to the
dips.
bank, which is much
Until
better.
that day comes,
The best
there are
part is that
many
you
of
can
ways
really
to earn
perform
money.
all of this on
Therefore,
your
I want
phone
you
using
everyone
their
to be
Apple
able
or
to benefit
Android
from
apps.
that.
Because
Therefore,
the Ben
be sure to
Exchange
sign
holds
up
the
for our
complete
trading club,
XRP
which is
ledger.
totally
Take
free.
advantage of
And
this
if you pay
chance
close
and start
attention to the
collecting your
transactions,
XRP,
I
and of
promise
course
you
your
will make a ton of
XRP
money.
ledger tokens.
Incredibly easy
Therefore,
and
you should
cost-free to
invest in
register.
some utility coins
Simply
that are
visit
built
one
on
of
the
our partner
XRP ledger
exchanges
if you
via
want
this
to
link,
obtain
make
it
a
on some meme
deposit,
coins.
then enter your
Ben
email
Exchange
address
is
and
the best
swap your
option as
ID.
well.
You can
Once
then
more,
participate
everyone, I
after
will
receiving
provide
an
all
email.
of the links in
You
the
can earn a lot of
explanation
money
below.
with us by
Obtain
copying
your
my
XRP
trades.
right now.
Additionally,
Now,
we
before
offer
the huge
instructional
price
materials
increase is
all
the
along.
time to do so.
We have
Having
instructional
stated that,
videos and
let's
other
go on to the
materials.
video.
Simply
There has
visit
been a
the website
significant
and
pricing
register.
hiccup for
For what
XRP.
reason are you waiting?
Even the reporter
Prepare
on
for your
American
financial
Send Ryan
future.
Financial
If you
News
like the
concluded
content,
that he
click
was
the
having
like and
trouble
subscribe
understanding
buttons.
what was
And I
occurring
hope to
because
see
it
you
had
all
risen to
soon.
such a high
Goodbye.
level.